So, you're wondering if you might be pregnant. The wait to find out can feel like forever, can't it? You're probably asking yourself, how soon can I take a pregnancy test? It's one of the most common questions out there, and today, we're going to break it all down for you. Explaining the science in a super simple way. We'll talk about a special hormone called HCG, how pregnancy tests work, and when is the absolute best time to take one for the most accurate result. First things first, let's talk about the star of the show. HCG, that stands for human chorionic gonadotropin. It's a mouthful, I know, so we'll just call it HCG. This is often called the pregnancy hormone, and for a very good reason. Your body starts producing HCG right after a fertilized egg attaches to the wall of your uterus. This process is called implantation. Without implantation, there's no pregnancy, and no HCG. Now, let's visualize the timeline. After ovulation, when an egg is released, it travels down the fallopian tube where it can meet a sperm. If fertilization happens, this newly formed little bundle of cells, called a blastocyst, continues its journey to the uterus. This trip takes several days. Implantation, the moment it snuggles into the uterine lining, typically happens about 6 to 12 days after ovulation. Day 9 is a pretty common average. It's only after this implantation that your body gets the signal to start producing HCG. Once production starts, the level of HCG in your body begins to rise very, very quickly. In the early weeks of pregnancy, it typically doubles every 48 to 72 hours. This rapid increase is what home pregnancy tests are designed to detect. So, how do those little sticks actually work? It's pretty clever. Really? A home pregnancy test, whether it's a stick you pee on or a strip you dip in a cup, contains antibodies that are specifically designed to bind to HCG. When your urine passes over the test strip, if HCG is present, it latches onto these antibodies. This triggers a chemical reaction that makes a line, a plus sign, or the word pregnant appear in the result window. It's like a tiny science experiment happening right in your bathroom. The key here is the sensitivity of the test. Different brands have different sensitivity levels, meaning they can detect different minimum amounts of HCG. This is measured in μU/mL, which means milli-international units per milliliter. Most standard tests on the market can detect HCG levels around 25 MIU/mL. Highly sensitive or early result. Tests can detect levels as low as 10 or even 6.5 MIU/mL. Now we get to the big question. When can you actually take the test? The timing is everything. If you test too early, your HCG levels might still be too low for even the most sensitive test to pick up, leading to a false negative. This can be really disappointing and confusing. The most reliable time to take a pregnancy test is on or after the first day of your missed period. Why? Because by this point, if you are pregnant, implantation has likely occurred, and your HCG levels have had enough time to rise to a detectable level for most standard tests. If your cycles are regular, this is pretty straightforward. For example, if you have a 28-day cycle and you ovulated on day 14, your period would be due on day 28. Testing on day 28 or 29 gives you a great chance of an accurate result. But what if you just can't wait? I get it. That's where those early detection tests come in. Some brands claim you can test up to 6 days before your missed period. Let's think about that. 6 days before your missed period is about 8 or 9 days after you likely ovulate. As we said, implantation can happen as early as day 6, so it is possible to get a positive result this early. However, there's a big but. The accuracy of these tests increases dramatically the closer you get to your expected period. A study might show a test is 99% accurate on the day of your missed period, but that accuracy drops significantly for each day you test earlier. For example, testing 6 days before might only be about 75% accurate. This means 1 in 4 pregnant women could get a false negative result. That's a lot of unnecessary worry. So, my professional advice. If you can hold out, wait until the day of your missed period. You'll save yourself potential confusion and get a much more trustworthy answer. If you absolutely must test early, use an early detection test, and be prepared for the possibility that a negative result might not be final. If your period still doesn't arrive, it's a good idea to retest a few days later. Another tip for getting the most accurate result, especially if you're testing early, is to use your first morning urine. Why? Because it's the most concentrated. Throughout the day, as you drink water and other fluids, your urine becomes more diluted, which can lower the concentration of H. By using that first morning sample, you're giving the test the best possible chance to detect the hormone if it's there. Now, let's talk about blood tests, because they're a different ballgame. There are 2 types of pregnancy blood tests you can get from a doctor. The first is a qualitative HCG test. This one is simple. It just gives a yes or no answer, just like a home urine test. It checks if there is any HCG in your blood at all. The second, and more common type, is a quantitative HCG test. This one is often called a beta HCG test. It's much more precise. It doesn't just say yes or no. It measures the exact amount of HCG in your blood. This is incredibly useful for doctors. They can see if the HCG level is within the normal range for how far along the pregnancy should be, and by repeating the test after 48 to 72 hours, they can see if the levels are doubling appropriately, which is a good sign of a healthy developing pregnancy. Because blood tests can detect much smaller amounts of HCG than urine tests, they can give you a positive result earlier. A blood test can often detect a pregnancy as early as 6 to 8 days after ovulation, which is even before most women would miss their period. So if there's a medical reason to know as soon as possible, or if there's a question about the viability of a pregnancy, a doctor will almost always opt for a quantitative blood test. Let's quickly recap the key takeaways. Your body starts making the pregnancy hormone HCG only after a fertilized egg implants in your uterus, which is about 6 to 12 days after ovulation. Home pregnancy tests work by detecting this HCG in your urine. For the most accurate result, it's best to wait until the first day of your missed period. If you test early, use a sensitive early result test with your first morning urine, but know that a negative result might not be conclusive. And remember, a blood test from your doctor is the most sensitive and can give you an answer even earlier. It's completely normal to feel a mix of excitement and anxiety during this time. The 2-week wait, that period between ovulation and when you can reliably test, can feel like an emotional roller coaster. Be kind to yourself during this time. Try to find healthy distractions, connect with supportive friends or your partner, and remember that whatever the result, you will handle it. If you're feeling overwhelmed, don't hesitate to reach out to a healthcare provider or a mental health professional. They're there to support you. Understanding the science behind it all can empower you to make the best choice for yourself. Knowing why you're waiting and what the test is actually looking for can make the process a little less mysterious and a little more manageable. So, take a deep breath, you've got this. Thanks so much for watching today. I hope this cleared up some of your questions about when to take a pregnancy test. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content just like this. Drop any questions you have in the comments below, and we'll do our best to answer them. See you in the next video.